Hi everyone, so today is a really good day because we have a brand new image generator called Reve Image. Now this isn't just any image generator, it is currently ranked the best image generator according to the Image Arena leaderboard. You can see over here it's number 1, which means that it is outperforming other major competitors like Recraft, Google's Imagen 3, Flux and even Midjourney. Now you guys will be able to generate 100 images completely for free so that you can test the waters, and I'll be showing you what this model is capable of generating. So let's get started. So in order to access Reve Image, check the link in the description. It's going to bring you over to this page, and then just make sure that you sign in so that you can actually generate some images. Now if I go to account, you'll notice over here that I have 100 credits remaining, and like I mentioned, you can generate 100 images completely for free. 1 credit equals 1 image, so take full advantage of this. Now you can go ahead and click on Explore so that you can see some images that have been generated using Reve Image. So Reve Image is a new model that's essentially been trained from the ground up to excel in prompt adherence, aesthetics and typography. And I'm really happy to see typography being focused on, because a lot of other AI image generators can generate text, but I feel like a lot of them don't really understand how to generate aesthetically pleasing looking typography. And I think this one really excels, but it can do so much more. It can generate different styles, and just the quality of these images look amazing. So this is where we'll type in our prompt. Now remember that Reve Image has very good prompt adherence, which means that your prompts can be very descriptive. So for instance, here on the Explore page, let's say I want to figure out how this image of this cat was generated. I can select it, go to Edit Prompt, and you can see over here that this is a very descriptive prompt. They've mentioned everything down to small details like the chain and the pendant, even the gold detailing on this cat, and everything that's mentioned in this prompt is going to be present on this image, which is amazing. So we have very good prompt adherence. Anyway, I'm going to deselect this image just by left clicking over here. So now we can actually go ahead and type in a prompt for our image and generate our first set of images. Now you can obviously type whatever you want over here. I'm going to use the following prompt. It's not an extremely detailed prompt, but even with something as basic like this, I can still get a good image. Anyway, I want to explain some other features over here. So this icon over here allows you to choose different aspect ratios, so you can generate wide format all the way to social media content in a 9:16 format. Now this next button is important because you can see over here it says expand your input into a detailed prompt to improve image quality. So if you enable this, the AI is going to analyze your prompt and essentially make it a lot more detailed. So it might introduce other elements into your prompt that you probably would have not thought of, which might actually give you a much better final image. So by leaving that on by default, you can actually get some really good looking images. But if you don't want to enhance your prompt, you can just left click over here to turn it off, and the AI is just going to adhere to this prompt. Now the next button over here is the seed button, and by default it's on auto, which means that it just generates a random number, and you actually want to leave auto on for your first generation, because that means it's going to give you variation with the images that get generated. So at the moment Reve generates 4 images at a time, but they're probably going to add a feature where you'll actually be able to choose how many images you want to generate. So once you're ready and you've got your prompt, I'm actually going to turn enhance on, and then I'm going to click on this icon and it's going to take me over to the create tab. Now I'm going to leave this in real time so you can see just how quickly it's going to generate these images. This is the one thing that actually amazed me. Right, there we go, it's done. I've got my images generated. Now if I click on here, remember I had enhance enabled, so I'm selecting this image. Remember this was my prompt before, right? I said a capybara wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Right, but with the enhanced prompt enabled, if I go to edit prompt, you can see how much more detail and context it actually added into this image. I mean, it's talking about a floral patterned blue and pink Hawaiian shirt, and not just her Hawaiian shirt, right? It became a lot more descriptive and specific with what the color should be on that shirt as well. So by turning enhance on, you can definitely get some more interesting looking images. And then of course this is my final output, and that is a really cool looking image of a super chilled capybara on the beach just relaxing. So another feature that I really like over here, so I've still got the same image selected and I'm still under edit prompt. You can see over here certain words are in a bold font. Now if I left click on these words, the AI is going to give me some other suggestions. So instead of a capybara, maybe I can try an otter. And if I click on that, it just swaps out capybara with otter. If I don't want a floral pattern blue and pink shirt, maybe I want a polka dotted yellow shirt, right? So this is a great way to get some other ideas from the AI itself. And I think that's just a fantastic feature. So now if I had to run this prompt again, I would get another image, but instead of capybara, obviously I'm going to get an otter and a different type of Hawaiian shirt. And then I can also explain the seed feature, because now you'll notice that it has a number selected on it. And with a number selected, you'll be able to actually recreate a very similar image. So it might have similar composition, but now obviously, because we changed, the context of the prompt, we'll get a different image. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on create, and you'll see what image we end up getting. So here we go. Now we've got 4 images of this super cute otter. Now remember, I used this image and I used the seed from this image. So it does its best to generate 4 images that are similar in composition. This one is probably the closest in terms of composition. And there we go, we've got a super cute otter. Now, I think over here the words polka dot and Hawaiian shirt were clashing with each other, and that's why I actually did not get a polka dot shirt. I should have maybe just specified that it's polka dot. So yeah, sometimes you have to be careful with your prompting. But there we go, another animal, beautiful image with some amazing image quality. So now I'm going to go ahead and select this image, because there's another feature over here that is extremely useful, and it's called Instruct. So Instruct allows you to, swap out or replace certain elements in an image without altering the composition too much. So in this case, if I didn't want this coconut drink, I could simply type in replace the coconut drink with an orange cocktail, and then I can click on re-roll. As soon as I do that, it generates 4 new images for me, but you'll notice it does its best to retain the exact same composition while swapping out that element. So this is super useful, right? So instead of the coconut, we now have this yummy orange cocktail for our otter to enjoy. So of course you can take your edited image and then edit it again using Instruct. So now we've got our orange cocktail, and in this case I said place a gold crown on the otter's head. And of course this otter deserves the crown because this otter is the king. But you can see just how powerful this Instruct feature is, so definitely use it. You can also use Instruct to change the style of an image. So for instance, if I have this image selected, under Instruct I can say turn this into a watercolor painting, and then as soon as I click on reroll, it's going to generate new images for me. Now you can see obviously it's generating a new image, but all of the elements that are present in this image are going to be present in this one as well. And now you've got this image in the style of a watercolor painting. So that's the basics of generating images, but there is another amazing feature, and it's this plus icon over here in the prompt box. You can see it says start with an image. So what I've done over here, I've generated this image using Google's Imagen 3, but what this feature allows you to do is if I drag and drop an image over here, right, immediately it's going to go to process an image. Now you don't have to do anything, but what it's doing in the background is that the AI is essentially analyzing this image. It's looking at its composition, it's looking at the colors and all of these different elements within the image. It's then going to craft a new prompt and generate an image for you that looks similar to this. So this is a great way to maybe try and understand, the prompt structure that was maybe used for generating other images that you've seen online, or it's just another way to generate an image in a similar style. So you can see over here, this was Google Imagen 3, which also has this white skyline, and then Rev has gone ahead and it's generated this beautiful image that looks quite similar to that, right? It's got the cherry blossoms and it's got our skyline, and it essentially mimicked that style, and that's where that can really come in handy. So definitely give that feature a try. Remember, it's called start with an image, and you just drag and drop it over here. Now of course you can select that image that has been generated, go to edit prompt, and then you can see the prompt structure. So that just gives you more insight into how you should structure your prompts to generate images in this particular style. So I think it is a very useful feature on the platform. Now I'll be showing you some creative use cases that you can try with Reve Image. So at this point, I think it's quite obvious that this model completely excels at generating portraits or just images of humans, whether it's an editorial shot or, you know, maybe some other photography that maybe looks a little bit more candid, like something like this, maybe taken with an iPhone, or maybe something for a magazine cover. As long as there's a human involved, I feel like the quality of the imagery just looks absolutely incredible. And you can see some of the amazing and creative results that have been generated just on the explore page. And remember, when you click on them and go to edit prompt, you can see how these images have actually been constructed. But there's some good stuff here. I mean, there's even this guy taking a selfie in the mirror. I mean, this looks so realistic. It's getting the right number of fingers as well. But yeah, if you guys are generating humans, Rev does a very, very good job. I feel like if you're also generating humans, there's some pretty good diversity in the images that get generated. I mean, people look completely different, right? You get these different ethnicities. Even if you're just prompting, like in this case, I just prompted female model. I didn't specify the ethnicity. Like over here, I did specify, like, I want different models that are going to be black, Asian, white, and albino. And I get an image that's just got a lot of diversity in it. So I definitely think this is where Rev also excels. Now, of course, it does really well with generating images of animals as well, so you can have fun with this. You can see I've even got this crazy looking snail with all of these mechanical gears on it, and you know, it's more focused on macro photography, and that's what I was having fun exploring, is macro photography. So trying to see, you know, the world from an ant's perspective. Over here it's pushing this M&M on a wooden floor, but have fun with this. So yeah, it definitely handles animals, insects, all types of fauna and flora extremely well, so give that a try. I always think it's best to generate your own unique virtual humans, but there's just no way that I can't mention this. Reve Image is extremely good at generating likeness straight out of the gate. I'm talking about celebrity likeness. It can be Michael Jackson, Freddie Mercury, whoever you can think of, you can generate them and it looks exactly like that person. Should you do it? That's completely up to you guys. Obviously you'd want to use this responsibly, but yes, it is possible. It does a very, very good job with generating likeness. Rev does a very good job at generating product photography. So if you guys are going to generate, you know, images of perfume bottles, you can generate beautiful images like this, and I'll show you the prompt in case you want to try something similar. Or maybe you showcasing, you know, like a handbag. So over here we have the Rev branded handbag, and again, beautiful aesthetics with this image. There's the prompt if you guys want to pause and copy that. And again, maybe you want to showcase, you know, a pair of headphones. So the model definitely excels with creating aesthetically pleasing looking product photography. Rev is very good at generating typography or anything text related, and you can see over here that you can actually type out quite a lot of text, and it's going to make sure that all of that is legible, even in extreme cases like this where you have this crazy looking typography. I can still read all of those words, and that's awesome. But you can try some really interesting stuff with typography, and I'll give you some ideas. Maybe you want to generate, you know, a t-shirt design. So in this case, here's this beautiful image, and there's the prompt if you guys maybe want to try something similar. And you can see over here it's called Rhythm Nature. Now I just adjusted the text and made it say music ties hearts together in a shared rhythm. So that could look maybe really cool as either a poster or a print on a t-shirt. You can also try and generate some other ideas, maybe a logo design, or these could also be ideas for a t-shirt, like this one over here, which I think is quite cute, with the sushi and the wasabi. Well, there's the prompt. You can maybe create a poster that's promoting, you know, some food. And again, here's the prompt if you guys want to generate something similar. But the use cases for trying, you know, to generate images using text is, yeah, there's a lot that you can do. Again, here's some more, maybe a minimalistic logo design. And maybe these vintage posters that you can try and generate. So this is one of the Taj Mahal in India. And again, it has really good aesthetics when it comes to generating the typography. Maybe you want to, again, another logo design. This is one called Slurpzilla, maybe for an energy drink. But you can see you can do a lot with this. You can even generate some stickers. All right, that was the prompt for this. Or maybe a more simplified typeface type of logo. Or a book cover. Maybe you want to generate a book cover. You can also give that a try. All right, and there's the prompt to generate that image. So there's a lot that you can do with typography or anything involving text, so give it a try. Rev also does a very good job at generating cinematic photography. Whenever you type in your base prompt over here at the bottom, right, it doesn't matter what you're describing, just include this term cinematic photography and leave enhance on, because the AI is obviously going to make your prompt a lot more detailed. And you can see over here, it just adds more context and starts, mentioning the type of lighting, the scenery and all of that. And that all works together to create a lot more, like a much more beautiful looking cinematic image. You can see over here in this case, the AI even mentioned stuff like the type of film that's being used, like an analog 35mm film. And having that terminology included in the prompt obviously will make the image look more cinematic. But you can definitely get these beautiful looking images straight out of Rev. That is going to be perfect if you guys are trying to create a short film and you want to do image to video. But yeah, Rev does a very good job at generating cinematic images. Here's something that's more, themed around noir. So, that black and white cinematography. So give it a try. You can definitely get some beautiful cinematic images. You can certainly generate images in different styles. So in this case with this image, what I actually did over here was I turned enhance off because I had a very specific prompt. You can see over here I said a squirrel driving a go-kart made out of a walnut on a racetrack in the style of pixel art. If I leave enhance on, I feel like it makes this prompt unnecessarily complex and I tend to actually lose the style. So that's just something to keep in mind. So you can see I ended up getting pixel art. So it is possible you can generate these different styles. Here's one that's themed more around anime. You can see over here I said in the style of anime. Right, there's another one over here. This is also beautiful anime image. Now over here the prompt is obviously a lot more complex, but I still managed to get that anime aesthetic. It looks like the term anime style illustration seemed to work quite well with this generation. Here's another one with the sketched, very loosely sketched image. Moody charcoal sketch, and that's what it ended up giving me. So you definitely can try and generate different styles. And like I showed earlier, if you see an image online that you maybe like that particular style, just drag and drop it in over here. Remember that the AI is going to analyze the image and then essentially mimic the style and generate a new image. So that's another way to essentially copy the style of another image, and then you can analyze that prompt to see how it was constructed. So from this particular image that I just uploaded, you can see that it's obviously not a one-to-one copy, but it is copying over, the overall composition and the colors. But then you can obviously click on this image, go to edit prompt and see how that image is constructed so that you can generate your own image with a very similar style. So that's going to be the end of this tutorial. Now you guys let me know what you think about Rev. I honestly think that the outputs look amazing, but of course it's far from perfect. It's a new model, which also means that the platform doesn't really have that many features to use, but what it does focus on with generating images, I think it does well. There's obviously room for improvement. Sometimes the images have these strange wonky eyes, so I hope that improves over time, and they obviously need to improve the quality of the images themselves, so they'll need some sort of upscaler in the near future. But right now, for what it is, I think it does a really good job. So you guys let me know, go and try it, leave your comments down below, and as always, you guys are super awesome, so stay tuned for some more videos and tutorials, and goodbye.